The purpose of this presentation is to answer the question, what does it mean to be included, and how can we create meaningful educational opportunities for all learners as future educators? What is inclusion? Inclusion in education is an approach to educating students with special educational needs. Under the inclusion model, students with special needs spend most or all of their time with non-disabled students in a general education classroom. Inclusion rejects the use of special schools or classrooms to separate students with disabilities from students without disabilities. A premium is placed upon full participation by students with disabilities and upon respect for their social, civil, and educational rights. Inclusion gives students with disabilities skills they can use in and out of the classroom. Inclusion is a newer technique that is being used to replace the older technique of mainstreaming. To compare the two, inclusion is allowing a student with a disability to fully participate with their general education peers and bring the necessary supports to that student. Whereas mainstreaming is when a student with a disability participates with their general education peers if and only if it is in a scenario in which they will be able to succeed without many supports. For example, the student with a disability will eat lunch with their peers or participate in classes such as physical education or music and art with their peers. I currently work in a residential setting for adult males who have been duly diagnosed with a mental disability as well as a developmental or emotional disorder such as schizophrenia or cerebral palsy. There are 5 males living in the house, ranging from ages 24 all the way to 55. For this presentation, I asked them about their educational history and how they performed in school and what happened to them. Upon talking to them, I quickly learned that they had all had similar experiences throughout grade school and high school. All of them were pulled out into a self-contained classroom in which they were surrounded by other peers who also had special needs, and they did not do any of the normal curriculum that their general education peers were doing. They were doing crafts almost every day or playing games, and were not being taught any of the essential basic skills that are necessary to succeed in life and get a job, such as math, reading, science, or any of the normal core curriculum. I asked all of them how much they liked this and if they would rather been with their general education peers learning the core curriculum. And surprisingly, all of them gave me the same answer, which yes, they would have loved to be with their general education peers and they wanted to learn math and reading and science and social studies, but they were not allowed to. This is where I think inclusion plays a big part. Had they been able to be with their peers and learn the core curriculum, there's a possibility they might not be living in the setting that they are today. None of them have jobs, and had they been placed in a general education classroom and been taught the basic skills, maybe they would have jobs now, or they'd be able to live on their own and have a better life other than just living as in a residential setting that is similar to being self-contained in an educational setting. It is up to myself and the rest of us as future educators to recognize the ability of students instead of a disability, and recognize their strengths instead of their weaknesses, and realize that with the proper supports, any student can succeed.